Oh, I didn't put up the W. Damn it. I hate it when I have a thought in my head and then something happens and I lose track of it. And yeah, I always like to start when we win. I like to start with the W. So guess what? Here we go. Yeah, it's been we're all stepping back from the edge of the bridge now. I feel like I feel like most everything is pretty positive. I am going to be pretty positive tonight, I think, because I don't see any reason to not be. I think that will make Glenn happy. I hope it does, because I don't want Glenn to yell tonight. So I was talking to Stan. I think Stan's pretty happy. So the bottom line is we've got what do we got here, fellas? 3 matches now to talk about since last week. So
3.
I think so. West Ham.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, West Ham, and then who'd we just beat Saturday? Leeds, and now Sunderland. So lots to get to tonight, and even a little bit of just general news to bring up as well about the league and the festive fixtures and all that good stuff. So let's get into it, shall we? How's it? Welcome into another episode of the Same Old Arsenal USA. And we're counting down. I don't know what the countdown is, what the number is, what the number will be, but we're counting down the last episodes of what will come to be formerly known as the Same Old Arsenal USA. But yeah, you guys know who I am. Beside me is Stan up in the Pacific Northwest. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. Very good.
Below him, Angry Glenn in New York.
I'm looking forward to Christmas.
Stan, go ahead.
Well. Just saying, I'm really looking forward to Christmas as well. The old turkey, the old presents, fireplace, bit of pork, some cheese and crackers, the whole shebang.
I'm going to eat my 7-layer dip combos. By the way, these things are tremendous. The 7-layer dip combos might be the best combos that are out there. We can debate that later if anybody is feeling up to it. Glenn. Hopefully not so angry tonight, but
yeah, I don't know how I got this angry rap. I get angry once in a while, but hi, I'm glad to be here. I'm Glenn from AFC New York. I have a video posted on my YouTube channel a couple days ago. If you like, maybe check it out. It's very positive. Oh, happy holidays to all of our friends watching live and those who will be watching on tape, no matter what religion. And if you're an atheist, happy weekend.
Yeah, right. And then he's stroking the beard and he looks a little upset. Oh, jeez. Why is Ryan not happy tonight?
Oh, wow. Mike Hurts
he got married.
It usually takes longer than that, Stan. It takes a little bit longer than that.
Glenn, they were out of the honeymoon phase before she said I do. So why do you look so angry, Ryan? Why do you look so angry?
I'm not angry.
You were sitting there like this. Right before you started smiling, you were like this.
Dude, you looked like you were about to yell, "This is Sparta."
No,
right?
I did have something kind of funny to say, but the mood's gone, the bit's gone. So yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, everything's good. We're playing better, and I think there's a lot to unpack. And I think that the wins are great, the wins are awesome, and coming is my beer of the week. Sour ale. I'm gonna like this. Broken Symmetry Brewing. Radiant Eclipse, because very radiant. We're a bright light that we just keep winning, and players are coming out of the woodwork, and the Eclipse is we have the young players coming in and doing what they're doing in ESR, Martinelli, Saka, but we also have younger players that are making their mark today. And shout out to Charlie Patino for his debut and his goal. It was absolutely fantastic. And we talk about the young guys that we have right now in our senior squad. Well, let's talk about the younger guys that are going to be soon chomping at the bit to get into the senior squad. Maybe a loan or two here and there, but very, very good, and we're very pleased about that.
Yeah. Truth be told, I said to Stan off air. I was at work, so I didn't get to see the game as well as I should say. I didn't get to watch as much of it as I wanted to, and I only saw one goal today, and that was Sunderland's goal. So yeah, so that's my luck.
You're bad luck, shocker.
Yeah, right, yeah. So I can't really speak intelligently on the game today. I do want to watch it back, but and Rowan is down there as well. How are the exams, and how are you, sir?
I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm done with my master's program, so that's complete. I've answered all my exams. The tough one, which I was thinking, it could be iffy. I've passed that as well, so I'm going to graduate from there. So that's good. Looking forward to the holidays, going down power down mode. Hopefully, I fly out to Germany tomorrow. So looking forward to that. And Arsenal, right? Like the last time I was on here, we were losing 2 on the bounce. We had like a terrible time, and then since then we won a few, right? We've been playing some decent football as well. The kids, they're just too good right now, right? Like all of them. Martinelli, Saka, ESR comes on for a cameo, scores all the time. Today, Eddie with 3 goals. Initially, I was getting quite frustrated with some of them. Balogun, who seems to be too good for the under 23s, but not good enough for whenever he's given a first team shirt for some reason. But yeah, all in all, Charlie scoring his first goal. Like good times for the club. Initially in the season, when the season began, Arsenal was rampaged with COVID cases, and nobody cared about it, and we sort of took some slack because of that in terms of points. And now we've played some games. We've got some games done. And we're 4th on the table, Champions League spot going into Christmas. And what better could it be? I mean, there are other teams who have games on us. They still have to win it, right? It feels good to be in that position. Every time I think about it, I think like what could have happened if we had maybe a draw against Manchester United, them 2 points behind, well, that's 1 point ahead, 1 point more. Everton, a team that struggled. This was one of those results, right? Like the Southampton ones, which was they were losing on a bad streak, but they drew against Chelsea as well. So I think they're just doing better against the big boys, but not us. But since then, we've had Southampton, Leeds. It felt bad for Leeds, actually, to a point. But then, I thought that we lacked that killer instinct in us to go for that 4th, 5th, 6th like a City can do, right? That still is lacking, I think, in our team. But all in all, can't complain. It's a good time to be an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. Just real quick to Lone Star's point here. I've said it before about Balogun, and like you just said, he's that baseball player that's in between the major leagues in AAA. He's mashing AAA hitting, but he comes up to the major leagues and he can't touch a 92 mile an hour curveball. That's Balogun right now. It's just he's in that awkward in between area where it just he needs a loan, and Ryan's been screaming for that for at least a few months now that he needs to go out on loan. But
kudos to Ryan also, because last week I said, Ryan, is Balogun ready for the Premier League? And before I even finished the sentence, Ryan was like, no.
Nope.
So
yeah,
kudos to you, Ryan.
So let's put on our memory caps here, gentlemen. Let's go back to West Ham, and let's talk about that for a minute, because last week, as you all remember, we were on early on Tuesday. We're back to our regular time slot, obviously, tonight. I was not optimistic at all. And
No.
Glenn even said that he was going to keep what I said. And I remember what I said, and he was going to keep it. And I've never been so happy to have been so wrong in my life. But a 2-0 and I dare say comprehensive win over some direct competition. And we all talked last week that this would be I believe, Glenn, you said that West Ham would be a statement match. Yeah. And
Yes.
and Stan, you and I kind of agreed that it would be a measuring stick for us. And we measured up. So, Stan, if you can recall kind of back to West Ham, just how did you feel after the West for a second, but after the West Ham match, how were you feeling?
Well, West Ham are kind of like their little engine that could at the minute. All of the pundits seem to love them. They're doing really well for themselves. Some may even say slightly overperforming, but it's not just this season. They're done pretty good for themselves last season as well. So it's a London derby. We don't really have much of a beef with West Ham, but they are another London team. And going in, I was a little apprehensive and hoping that we could at least come away with a draw and come away with a point out of it. So to win the game, and the way that we played, some of those, the way that the chances that the players are taking. I mean, looking at the stats for that one, Arsenal had 21 shots. 21 shots. West Ham had 7. From our 21 shots, 8 of those were on target. From the 7 that West Ham took, only 1 was on target. So you got to take your chances, and you take 21 shots, and the result is 2 goals. So it shows you how fine the margins are. Out of 8 shots on target, you managed to tuck 2 away. So there are fine margins, but it does show you that we are taking the chances and we are beginning to create the chances. And for me, the player that is really, and it's because I think my missus always has a favourite. You know what they're like. She always got a favourite. And we're on the same page for once. It's been 11 years, and finally, me and the missus are on the same page about something. We both really like Martin Odegaard. So, I'm really pleased with the performances that he's putting in. I really hope that those people a month or so ago who were saying, and I saw tweets saying that he's the worst midfielder who's ever worn an Arsenal shirt. I hope that his performances have managed to change those opinions, because I think he's so influential for us. And I go back to when we were having a discussion about where he should play, because it was at that time when he'd had a couple of games where he played a bit deeper, and I don't think it got the best out of him. And he worked hard, but it wasn't really his game. And I suggested that we take Lacazette out, or one of those forwards out, and have that one behind the striker, what we were doing with the 4-1-1. And I think it's just totally opened up his game. And so much so, my nickname for him now is like the puppet master, because he's pulling all the strings. He's always involved in all of the good things that we're doing. So, at the end of that West Ham game, I was really pleased, but then you're cautious, aren't you? You're going into a game against Leeds, and you just see them get a spanking, but then you're thinking, they're going to come out as the wounded animal. You're still going in with a little bit of intrepidation. And I'm always thinking to myself, we're only like 90 minutes away from Xhaka doing something Xhaka-ish. Yeah. I'm always, sort of like looking and waiting for that. But on the whole, I'm really pleased with where we are at the moment, and I'm really enjoying the football that we're playing, and not wanting to skip ahead too much. But it was nice to see your second string go out, and not just go out and make up the numbers, but actually do something meaningful, get you through to the next round. So, yeah, really pleased after that West Ham game.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, no, Tanner's just muted. No big deal. Trying to be professional. Can't do it. Glenn, what do you think about the West Ham game?
Are you?
Why don't you put on your memory hat and your memory goggles and jump on down to
Oh,
West Ham?
wow! You remember what I told you before we came on the air? I'm gonna come up to Connecticut next.
Yeah.
No wonder when Tanner's not around, he never asks Ryan to host.
Yeah, smart man. Smart man.
Well done, Rowan. Well done.
I am not sure what the oohing and eyeing
He
is
just
all
Tanner
about.
was.
What are you saying, Ryan? I'm one of the few people that predicted we'd beat West Ham.
I wasn't saying. I was making fun of Tanner, Glenn.
Oh, okay. And I was just asking whose turn is it after Stan? Because I don't like when I interrupt people.
I went, Glenn.
Nah, you do it anyway. It's fine.
Glenn, I asked you to follow up, but I was muted.
Oh.
So, but yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I'm like every other Arsenal fan. I'm extremely happy. I think his name's Daniel Shaw in the comments said, hey, let's just take it one game at a time, relax. That's the way I'm taking it. But for the first time in forever, I'm happy with the players. I'm happy with the manager. And I'm happy with where we are in the table and how we're playing. One game at a time, but this is a nice early Christmas present from Arsenal.
Yeah. Ryan, I think you predicted for West Ham. I think you predicted a draw. I think you said 1-1 or 2-2. So what were you thinking?
I mean, what Glenn said, the players played well. I think I don't know how you don't, but you gotta give Arteta some credit here. I know I said it. I don't see how Lacazette and Odegaard can work. It doesn't really make sense. Lacazette plays well with, the ESRs, where Odegaard's more of an Aubameyang guy. So it's just kind of like oil and water. Tactically doesn't really make much sense, but Arteta made it work. The players made it work, and it's nice to see that Lacazette could take a lot of pressure off Odegaard and kind of let him do his thing. And I think, Lacazette's really enabled Odegaard to kind of shine a little bit. I know Odegaard played well today, and Lacazette was in the lineup, but we'll get to that later. But and it's good that I got to give a shout out to probably the person that's making all this possible, and I'm not to say Lacazette. I think Lacazette is really. I don't want to say Lacazette's pulling the strings, but I think Lacazette's the big bodyguard that's fighting all these people. And Odegaard's just sitting there pulling the strings from far behind. So it's nice to see, and it's nice to see that we can compete with a team that's like that we're competing with for those spots, for the Champions League spots. I mean, and let's not suck each other off too much. West Ham's back line was decimated. They didn't have their back line there. So I think we were, we took a little more risk. We took more chances, which I don't care who's playing in the West Ham back line. Even if they had all four, I would have loved to, just take risk. But I think we kind of just, said we're just going to do this thing, and it was nice to see, and it was definitely a bright light for what we know is to come.
Rowan, I have to think you were pretty happy considering, just everything you had going on last week with your tests and your studying and
exactly.
all of that. So it's got to feel good to see a performance like that. If you set the time aside to actually be able to watch the game, it's kind of like, yeah, it's all worth it, right?
Rohan, I saw someone in the comments. Congratulations on winning the bad Scrabble hand. I don't know what that was that they put in there. It was just a bunch of consonants and no vowels. What did you do that they were, congratulating you for?
Oh, Glenn, where the fuck have you been?
You guys don't let me talk privately with you outside the show, so I get.
No, Glenn, we let you talk privately with us, and you just leave the chat. That's what happens.
All right, whatever. Rohan, what the fuck did you pass?
So, I was doing my master's in law. I work as a lawyer. I'm a lawyer, but I was, for my personal growth, for my academic bent of mind, I also took on the task. Let me, in addition to work, family, Arsenal, let me also take on masters. And I was doing masters at Fordham. And I finished that program. It's a 2-year program which I finished in 18 months.
Oh,
And,
congratulations!
Yeah,
Congratulations.
and that's what I had. So I had a 12-hour exam on Tuesday, which is why I was not on last week. And I wrote that. And Wednesday was the game. I had it marked down. I had my calendar blocked. And usually when I do this, I'm quite hyped up because I've like set aside a chunk of my day for the Arsenal, and I get disappointed.
Okay, we didn't want to hear your whole life story.
But the segue.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
The segue to that is that the game was what I would call it.
You know what? I'm fucking joking. You're all like, "Oh my god, what did he just say?" Rohan, I'm sorry.
I'm
Continue.
laughing at
speak.
Yeah, glad you talk about interrupting people. Jesus Christ.
So fine. Look,
so what I would describe that game is control, right? It was controlled. That game was, we controlled that game. It never looked like we were in danger, and we had a man advantage in the second half. Let's not forget that as well. They got a man sent off. It's debatable. I wasn't really sure whether that was a red or a penalty. We missed the penalty anyway. So, I mean, right now, nobody can take penalties. So, but at the end of it, Martinelli scoring, and I was just looking through my tweets to remember what that game was and how it was. And Henry finish, right? That ball in by Odegaard and then the finish. I mean, it was just Henry all over it, signature. Right, and then Smith Rowe coming on and doing what he does. Right now, he's become super sub. He comes on, he scores. So, I mean, happy days there. And then Leeds again. And what Ryan's also said, right? I agree with that. And it was a game that should lay down a marker because West Ham have just been doing so well. And everybody is praising West Ham so much. They are a top 4 rival for us. I think it's the top 3 and then everybody else. And there's that race going on. Chelsea might get pulled into this one. Who knows? But, we clearly proved that we were better. But then were we better? Because, they had injury issues. They had a man sent off. Leeds had a terrible team. If we were playing that team and we had lost, we would probably accept most of it and just bring the Premier League because we'd be like, we didn't have a team, right? But on the other hand, you can only play what's in front of you. So, there's argument to be made on both sides. So, but it's all about the points at this point in the season. So, yeah, couldn't be more happy.
The Leeds thing, and we do seem to be catching some of these teams at the wrong time for them. Southampton we talked about was decimated with injuries. Leeds was practically fielding an under 23 team as it was. I mean, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was the only substitute on their bench that had any excuse me, any Premier League experience. I think he had one game, and I'm not even sure it was a full 90 minutes.
They subbed him on.
And they subbed him off, yeah. And they took him off.
But here's the thing, though, right? When you put a list in at the beginning of the season, you don't just put in a list of 11 players. You don't get the FA your starting 11. You give them out. It's 24 to 26 players, something around that number. So if you've got 8 players out, you've got 8 players out. That's just the way it is. You've put in a squad of 25, 26. Then those players will have to play. You can't cancel a game. You can't cancel a game because 8 of your players have got the shits because they all had a bad pizza or something like that. Yeah. You hand in a squad of 20-odd players. That's how it is. If all 20-odd players are out, then okay, I get it, right? Then you're proper fucked. But
it drives me crazy because this all evens out. Look at the first 3 games of our season where we had friggin' Balogun starting. Give me a break. It all evens out. You can only play who's in front of you.
It does even out, and which is why I'm ecstatic. And even if it doesn't, as long as we get the rub of the green, I'm happy with it. But there should be a small asterisk beside our win. Maybe, I don't know. Like, do you guys not?
Not even a little.
In a full. I mean, as long as we do this, right? Like we've played 18 games. Let's say we hopefully win against Norwich. Norwich we've already played before. It should have been Wolves before they've messed it up, right? But after 18 games, we've got 35 points. Let's just imagine that we've got 32 now, 35 points. 35 into 270 points at the end of the season. If we have that, I'd be happy with it, right? But do you think you're going to have 70 points at the end of the season? I'm not really sure whether 70 points is a good season right now for Arsenal. So, that's the thing that I'm thinking about right now. So, we've got to believe that, but it's fine. The funny stat that I found in that, there were two, right? One was that ESR was the youngest player on our bench, on the Arsenal bench,
and he was the oldest,
and he would have been the oldest
And he
player
would have been the oldest on Leeds bench. Yeah.
But this Leeds team, who was playing its under 20s and under 23s, had an average age of 25 and a half years. We had an average age of 24 and a half years. So when they sang, we are playing the kids, the Arsenal fans sang, so are we. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I the Leeds thing, I don't know that there's really much to glean from that win. I mean, again, you're playing a very inexperienced, very young team, and our youngsters are getting game time. They're practically, like I see, here again, they're not even fielding U20. They're trying to put out a U21 team, basically. We'll get into we'll kind of split the show into a few different segments here. We'll talk about Sunderland in the Carabao Cup here in a little bit, but let's just we'll stick with the league and things like that for right now. So after the West Ham match, I don't know what is happening right now. My phone and my watch are going absolutely ballistic. I apologize. After West Ham and then coming back, like Glenn had said, that you almost like you were, or not Glenn, I'm sorry, Stan said you were almost preparing for a bit of a letdown against Leeds, right? Because again, you get up for that game against West Ham and say that's that's the statement, it's the measuring stick, it's whatever you want to call it. But we've done a lot of talk on this show about, and we've debated with one another, is it the players? Is it Mikel Arteta? I would say right now we're all pretty happy with where we are. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you, and in the chat included, I want to know where you stand on Mikel Arteta right now. And I'll go first. And I'm going to go first because I'm going to admit that I'm flip-flopping. And I've watched these last 3 games. Today, I did. Well, no, I should say the last 2 games. I'm sorry. I'm seeing the flashes of brilliance. I'm seeing the progress in certain areas. And I am starting to come around on the idea that when we see a match like we did at Everton and the weak mentality, Martin Odegaard coming out after the game saying we were scared to lose, we were scared to concede, and we, it's the, Arteta's waving them forward and the players are refusing to go forward. We may just, I don't know, but I'm flip-flopping between being Arteta in and Arteta out. And I think that the more that these kids play together, I think the more confident they'll become, and they should be fairly confident right now, So, I mean, Arteta's not going anywhere. We know that. They're not going to sack him. No matter what, I don't think. And I think it's I think it's the kids. I don't think it's him. I think it's the players, not listening to him, because we're seeing now. At least I am. I'm seeing the progress. I'm seeing what we're supposed to be doing. So, Stan, you've always been level-headed when it comes to
that's my missus and my mother. There you go. You see, where I'm different to you is I've never either been Arteta in or out. I've never done a hashtag Arteta in. I've never done a hashtag Arteta out.
I have.
And you remember me saying, I've said this before in this podcast, I used the scales of justice system with my managers. And when Mikel Arteta was appointed the manager, as I mentioned, he wasn't my first choice. But when his name was mentioned, I wasn't like, yeah, no way. I was kind of, my scales of justice were very evenly 50-50. And during his tenure as our manager, I got up to the stage where the scales were balanced at 95%. I was done with Mikel Arteta, and there was like 10 to 5% of a lifeline. Now, where we are on my system of measuring Mikel Arteta, I'm kind of like 60-40 that I'm happy with him. You know, so the scales have moved more in favour of him. I'm 60% of where I like what I'm seeing, the progress that I'm seeing. I'm still really keen to see how we navigate the AFCON Cup that's going to be creeping up, because we're going to be short of a few players. So I'm interested to see how, as a club, we decide to go about that business. Are we going to bring players in on loan? Is there going to be further investment? And then I'd like to see again where we are around about the middle of February, once we know, well, this is the squad that we've got now. There ain't no one coming in and no one going until the summer. But I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I am, you know, and it does worry me, though, that, you know, we only have to lose the next game and all of the Arteta outs will resurface and be, you know, this guy's fucking shit and da. Because I still think there's going to be bumps in the road, because consistency is hard to find with the profile of team that we have. So I'm prepared that there's going to be an off day or two further down the road, but I'm prepared for that. What I don't see us doing is going on a run of about 6 games where we're just like proper deadbeats and we can't find the back of the net. And players, you know, we're hearing things like, oh, the players are not playing for the manager. I don't think it's going to get into them realms. But there will be maybe the odd game that going in, we think that we should win, and we might not, you know. Ben White might go steaming into the penalty box and give away a penalty. Little things like that. These individual errors are still out there with the profile that we have. And then, of course, you factor Granit Xhaka into the situation, and you're only a red card or a penalty away from a little bit of discontent.
Yeah, Glenn, you've been.
I started the season absolutely convinced that Arteta was the wrong man for the job. Absolutely convinced. I was like, it's just, you know, he's just got to go. It's a matter of when it's going to happen. This man, I was wrong about his summer transfer window. I was wrong about him being able to strategize during a game. I support him right now, and I hope this doesn't sound hypocritical, because Daniel Shaw just wrote this in the comments too. I support him right now, but he's got to at least get Europa League. He's doing a tremendous job, I believe, and I believe he deserves my support. But I will not accept anything less than the Europa League with this team of exciting players we have.
I actually, just to piggyback off that, Glenn, I think there's a possibility of getting Europa League and maybe a sneak in a cup in as well.
Yes.
I mean, that's a good point. I want to get Ryan and Rowan's thoughts, because you two have very strong opinions on Arteta. So I definitely want to get you guys in here. But that's Europa League and a trophy that would be, with as young as this team is, and it's not like they've been playing together in the U23 levels. It's not like they all came up through the ranks together, right? You know, through the Arsenal Academy. I mean, it's you know, we're a melting pot of different European talent right now, or South American talent even. So it would be, I think, quite an accomplishment to finish with a trophy and in a Europa League or better spot. Ryan, you and I go back and forth on tactics with this all the time. You've never really ridden the Arteta out train as hard, I think, is what Rowan and I have. But where are you?
I'm gonna take a page out of Mikey Harris's book. I fucking hate this question. I think I don't really care where the fuck I am. I'm Arsenal in. Yeah, I mean, I've said this multiple times. We're a young team, the youngest team in the Premier League, and we're growing. And Arteta, I don't think he's the youngest manager in the Premier League, but he's growing, and he's gonna have his obstacles. He's gonna have his hurdles. If the season ended right now and we made Champions League, I don't trust him to get us very far. I don't think we're there yet. But we're growing. We're learning. He's growing. He's learning, and he's gonna do things that frustrate the hell out of me. Like I think it was the Everton game. Where he did. Yeah, it was the Everton game where it was impressive at how many things he did wrong. But again, we're not perfect. He's not perfect. We're a young team, and we're gonna be. We're gonna have these things happen to us. We're gonna have that Everton game, the way we played, what Arteta did. It's gonna happen again. And I don't think that's to say that he's an idiot and he doesn't know what he's doing. Growing pains, and I think obviously we saw there's a little more to what he did. For example, the Eddie substitution, the Eddie substitution ahead of the Aubameyang substitution. So there's things going on behind the scenes that hopefully we'll find out about in the Amazon documentary. It's a process. We're growing. I don't think he's going to get us like right now. I don't think he's going to get us where we want to be. But again, youngest in Premier League, we're growing. He's growing, and it's just a matter of him, growing with us and staying with the players as far as growing wise, because these players are growing at a very fast and exponential rate. Having ESR come off the bench and score goals in both games, having Martinelli just come out of I mean, people say he's always been good, but this is the best he's played for us since he's been with us. And Martinelli's also a great example when you talk about learning. He was on trial at Man U 4 times and didn't make it. They saw nothing. And to say like, oh, they're idiots. Well, I believe that he wasn't doing anything in those 4 trials. I think he was good enough to get those trials. But the fact is, he had to grow, he had to experience things, and he had to, he had to face obstacles like Arteta. And I'm not saying I'm Arteta in, but I'm Arsenal in, and I'm excited to see this team grow because let's face it, like you said, Tanner, he's not going anywhere. This project, yes, it's very youth movement. Focused, but Arteta's a project. We all know this. So I just hope that, like I said, he could grow with this team, because when you have guys that are 18 years old who were born during the Invincible season, and they're trying to make their mark in the first team, you got something special. I just hope he could pick it up and carry this team with him. Or the team could carry him, or vice versa, the team could carry him with him.
Just continue to harness the talent that's there and nurture it along and keep improving. So, Rowan, you and I have probably been the 2 most fervent Arteta out guys on this show. So, where are you?
I'm happy right now. Like I said, 32 points. I look back at those few games, Everton, Manchester United, both times where we took the lead, couple of more points there, couple of more points lesser for at least one of our rivals would have been great, but we're not. But 35 points after 19 games, 70 points after the season, I'd be happy. What I had said, my requirement for this season, at the end of the season, was and it may be unrealistic, but that's what I wanted. I wanted a 4th or a close 5th, a fight for it. Just because you ended up in the Europa League spot, which is 5th, 6th, or 7th, with and you're like 15 points behind the Champions League spot, just wasn't good enough for me, right? I'm gonna admit that my assessment of his transfer window was absolutely wrong. absolutely incorrect. Every one of those players has looked a player and a half, actually. You know, and that's where I stand corrected. Do I think that in the world of elite managers, is Arteta an elite manager? I don't think so. I still don't think that he is an elite manager. So I don't think that he can take us where we want to go. But if he can lay down that foundation of a team which is young, hungry, tactically good, technically good, and then maybe somebody else takes over who can take us to the next level, then great. That's where I stand. It was disappointing after the Manchester United game, after the Everton game, and I see those games coming back and I see them haunting us. And that's obviously a problem. The table looks a little bit better than it should. We've got teams at a little bit of a wrong time for them, a good time for us. Spurs and Manchester United have games on hand which they could win. So we're not sitting comfortably in fourth, but I'm thrilled nonetheless to be in the conversation for fourth at this moment. That's where I'm at. Looking at the next 6 Premier League games: Norwich at home, Wolves away, Manchester City at home, Spurs away, Burnley at home, and Wolves again, Wolves away. Right? Out of this, I can't completely be sure, but I read on Twitter that out of these set of games, in which Norwich replaced by Fulham, because Norwich was not there, Fulham was playing. We got 3 points out of these 6, 3 points out of 18 in these. I was thinking if we could get 3 wins and a couple of draws, or 4 wins in these 11 or 12 points, I'd be happy with that. And that could sort of set us up. The questions will arise. We've got to take points against teams that we should take points. We were doing that thing of trying to sit back against West Ham, but they just didn't have any presence up front. We tried that against Leeds as well after the 3-0 win, which is why we conceded. We stopped playing and they did start playing, right? So, we've got to take that out of the game. It may be a little bit of the players, it may be a little bit Arteta, but whatever it is, they should know. Arteta takes no, makes no exception, right? He's taken Aubameyang completely out of the team. So if they aren't listening to him, they should be scared. But we take 10, 11 points from these games, 12 points ideally, and then we'll have a good top 4 chase. But the marker is going to be set in those 2 games, isn't it? Manchester City at home and Spurs away, under what I classify as elite managers. And then we'll see where we are, right?
Yeah.
Because we seem to be able to beat everyone this season, except for the real big 6. I mean, we did beat Leicester and Spurs. But again, Spurs under different leadership, under it's probably the easiest game that we played along with Leeds now throughout the season. So so let's see. Yeah, exactly. I agree with Rudy. Wolves keeping clean sheet after clean sheet is difficult to play them, right? So I don't say that we're just going to get a win against them. So, which is why I haven't said that those are 4 games, 2 games against Wolves plus the game against Norwich and the game against Burnley, all 4 are wins. I anticipate one of them to be draws, but it's the manner in which we play also which will count. So there's a lot of that. Right now, I'm giving Arteta the some more space and time to do what he does. But to be honest, do I think that he's an elite manager who's gonna make us really challenge for the title and the Champions League, hopefully? I don't think so. But like I'd be very happy to admit it, like I am admitting today, and I have over the past couple of episodes, that I was wrong about the transfer window. So my assessment is only based on what I know, what I feel, and what I have seen, right? Till now, it's not been to suggest that he's an elite manager, but maybe this team can pull him towards that.
I think
I have a question real quick for Rowan. Do you not think Arteta's going to get better? You think he's just going to stay the same as a manager? You don't see him
So
getting there?
see, getting better and becoming elite there's a difference in that. He can obviously get better, and we can probably finish in the top 4 by him getting better. Ole finished second last season. He's not an elite manager, right? So I don't see us consistently going on runs and going into big games as being neck to neck with Arteta at the helm right now. I don't see that happening, but I'd love for that to happen.
But our team is so young. Like I don't want like I don't know. I would want that now, but with the youngest team in Premier League, I don't expect us to keep up with the Chelsea. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I don't expect us to keep up with Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool. I don't expect that. And I think if the players can get better, why can't he get better as a manager? And yeah, he's not an elite manager now, but was Pep an elite manager at his first job? Was Klopp an elite manager at their first job? Like you gotta keep in mind, like this is his first job. Like you guys will give him shit for picking up and putting down cones at Man City, which I'm not going to argue that. But this is his first head coaching gig. So I think it's a little, I don't know if naive is the right word, but to think that he can't get better and potentially be elite. I'm not saying either way, but like you gotta make room for it because the team can get better.
I don't have a crystal ball to say either way whether he's going to be or not, right? Till now, I think 2 years, he just finished 2 years, right? 2 years is a long time in management, right? Our team was still finding their identity like 5 games ago. We didn't know what we played like. Yeah, it wasn't his team, this, that. We were like very, very quick to make excuses, right? Tactically, he was last season especially so rigid. He got outplayed by all other 19 managers at least once, I think.
Rohan, don't bring up that kind of stuff, Rohan. I was with you. You have a different set of goals for Arteta. You said 5th, right? That's what he needs to do to be in your mind, a better manager and make you more confident. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's fair to talk about last year. I mean, someone brought up Klopp. Someone brought up Klopp before. I remember a season with Bayern where Klopp was in a relegation battle for most of the season. So, I think Arteta's improved enough for me that I'm pretty confident going forward. And I understand why Ryan and Rohan both still have some reservations.
No, yeah, sure. And when he was in that relegation battle, he got sacked, right? And, it's a big improvement. Last season, we were 16th at this time. We're now 4th. So, of course, there is an improvement. Of course, there is a style of play also. Like I've said, for me, it's always been results sort of secondary, and the performance needs to be there because, as Tanner has also said, your performance, if your performance is not up, results will not continue for a very long time. They will dry out, right? But now we've got those performances as well. And I completely understand where what our team situation is right now, which is why I'm not getting carried away. Or you could say that you're already getting carried away by saying that we could finish 4th or a close 5th, we could win a cup, etc., etc. But that's my expectation for this team and a manager who's been with the team for 2 years. That's my expectation, and that's where I want to see this team.
I think the biggest thing for me is I tend to look at I tend to look at everything week to week, and the biggest thing with the United match and the Everton match it was down to the performance, and it was this week. But when we look at the big picture, forget last year. Okay, last year is last year. That's done and dusted. Nothing there is going to change. It is what it is. But this year, we were 0-3 with no goals scored. And we now sit in 4th position. Now, there has to be an asterisk beside this right now, because that fourth position is what's the word I'm looking for? It's it's not necessarily a true fourth. I guess it's the best way I could put it, because United have 2 games in hand. If they win those games, they go above us. The Spurs have 3 games in hand. If they win those, they go above us. So we
I think like Tottenham have got like 500 games in hand, right?
Pretty much at this point, like they've got it. Like the EPL is just going to say, look, you guys go. You're going to play games for an entire year. Everybody else will play 1 game against you, and you're going to be the only team that can win. And there's your trophy, you media darlings.
Hey, Spurs still have to win those games in hand, and I believe they lost a game today, and they didn't even play. So
yeah.
It's like they're literally sat at the fucking poker table, and they've got like an extra fucking pack of cards.
Right.
Sleeves,
Basically, yeah.
Races.
It's so but we're there, because even if they didn't have the games in hand, and let's just say that they'd won all those games in hand and we were behind them, we're in 6th. We're ahead of West Ham. We're in a Europa League spot. We're going into the semifinals of the League Cup. This is a good thing, considering where we started the season. Considering some of the dire performances we've had, to be where we are with some of the good performances that we've had, I think speaks volumes. And I think that and look, I you know what, I flip-flopped. If anybody wants to call me out, you're right. I flip-flopped. I've been heavily Arteta out based on performances, but if you look at the overall picture, somehow, some way, this team come through and they put in a performance when they need to.
Can I just say, Tanner, there's no such thing as flip-flopping. You are allowed to change your mind.
Well, yeah. You get people, oh my God, you were Arteta out.
Imagine if you're sat in the fucking jury and like, he's fucking guilty. He's fucking guilty.
Yeah.
And all this evidence comes out that he's not even there. And you're like, not guilty. The judge is going to go like, you fucking flip-flop.
Yeah.
I'm fucking hanging him no matter what.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a ride, because let's say Spurs win their 3 games in hand. Let's say United win their 2 games in hand. They're just 1 and 3 points ahead of us. 3 and 1 points ahead of us. So the top 4 race is on. That 5th position race is on, right? And our youngsters are going to get us there, and these head-to-head matches are going to count. And the first one to cancel that 2 game or 3 games that Spurs has on us is the match that we will play against them, right? We've got to play against them. We've got to play away. We haven't won at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I think you mispronounced
the shithole. Right?
That's $1 billion shithole.
we haven't won there. So, and our youngsters to go in there and put in a performance. And today, as frustrating as this guy was a couple of times, I said this in my tweet last game that, we, in terms of the bench, we've got ESR coming on now, who's a big asset. But then beyond that, we don't have much more attacking threat, because obviously Aubameyang is on the naughty step, and Pepe is not even on any step. He's just like incognito right now. So, but today's performance, maybe he gets in a shout. Some of the things that he did today were filthy. He has to be on some sort of list after the things that he's done today. It was amazing. And now that we've got a good right back as well in Tomiyasu.
Love him.
Now today I could watch Cedric and not be angry. And in fact, I quite liked what Cedric did. Right, his lung busting runs were. He played well today. Cedric played well today.
That's so funny. I thought he was terrible. And I saw people on Twitter the same way. I saw people say he was bad. People said he was good.
Any games. Now I'm going to come to his defense now. He's not playing any games. He comes in today what I was looking for more than a performance was the effort, and there was 100% effort from him.
Yeah.
He was dog shit when he came on for Tommy Arse, though.
Yeah, of course he was. If he's not,
I like it saying, mate, he's cold, right?
Which is why I'm at ease, right? If I thought that the competition was Bellerin playing like shit, and then the competition was Cedric who's going to come in, I'm gonna like be angry at everyone. Bellerin, Cedric, Arteta, all of you guys, myself, like everyone, right? But now I'm at ease because we've got that Japanese machine, right? I said that in a tweet. He's like the typical Japanese stereotype, right? He gets about his business, does everything very efficiently, but he's very quiet about it, right? There's no flashiness. There's this one piece of that game that there's this one.
Like you're coming in the morning, switching the lights on. You're like, "Fucking hell, have you not gone home yet?" He's still there.
Like there's this one moment where the ball got flashed into the box, and how he used his body to get the attacker behind him, and then took the ball with his turn of pace. The way he played was amazing, and there's no flashiness about him. Tavares, on the other hand, has like that flair, that that flashiness. Today also he almost gave the ball away, which led to a counter which was stopped in its tracks there. But with Tomiyasu, you're never talking things like that, right? Just a stable, you can count on this guy.
Hardworking all the time.
He reminds me of Monreal, but just on the other side of the pitch.
Yeah,
very Monreal-y in what he's about. That word? I just made a word up.
I've been over the last few days watching a Netflix documentary, The History of Japan. Just a bunch of badass, mean MFs. And I was thinking of Tomiyasu. I'm like, he's a little badass, like these samurai guys, man. He just goes out there and he fights.
Absolutely. What a guy.
Little racist.
You get cancelled for comments like that. I'm just saying.
I think a little racist.
And I think we have to keep it. I'm sorry, Ryan. Just one thing, real quick. I keep it into perspective. We were playing Sunderland. I like them. I miss them in the Premier League, but they're what, a League One side. So I take everything with a grain of salt today. But we had a bunch of hungry players out there that just wanted to perform, and I loved it.
I'm actually going to give Arteta credit here also for the Sunderland game. It didn't seem like he really gave them much instruction. I didn't really see tactics. We beat them because we were better. We beat them because we were technically better. Pepe was dribbling through what was his name? Denver Hume. He megged him twice in the span of 10 minutes. Odegaard was doing what he wanted. You had Nuno Tavares. By the end of the game, he was playing a false nine. Our guys kind of just did what they wanted, and Arteta was kind of cool with it. So, and I give kudos to Arteta, because as someone who we've kind of all said he's stubborn and he's a control freak, it didn't seem like he had much to say in this game. It didn't seem like he really had his touch in this game. I mean, who knows? Maybe you look back, maybe he did, but from what I watched, we beat them just because we were just technically better than them. We just did whatever we wanted. They didn't have answers for us. They just weren't a good team. And go, Glenn, go.
No, I just want to say I'm glad that you're giving Arteta some respect here, but I saw something completely different. I saw us come out gangbusters, go up 2-0, then they nicked a goal. Great goal, Sunderland. And it was 2-1, and they took control of the game. They scrapped back into it. Arteta turned it around. All right, and think back months ago, Sunderland would have scrapped back and would have kept scrapping. Arteta took control of the game, and we took care of the business like we should have. So that's what I saw. That's the only thing I see different from what you said.
What makes you think Arteta was the one? I think the players were the ones that scrapped back into it. I don't.
Okay, well, that's right. You think there's a communication problem, and I don't. Okay.
It's like you saw Arteta staring at the pitch as like a game board, and he just flipped it and goes, "Okay, yeah, no, that's good." I think they had us. I don't know. I also don't think they scrapped back into it. I think they had like one or two good chances, because honestly, and then everyone's all high on Pepe. The reason they scored that first goal, part of it was Pepe's fault. Part of it was Cedric's fault. They didn't track back. Holding didn't track back. Yeah. Pepe just did the Olay defense. He stopped, looked at the guy with the ball. You saw the guy running past him, froze. He had ice on his boots, and he was out of the play. And then I think they had like one or two more chances after that. But at the end of the day, it's like, we're a better team, and like I said, we had guys playing different positions. We had guys playing where they don't normally play. Granted, our team did look very different. It did look very different. We made a lot of Arteta made a lot of substitutions, for the game. But I don't know. I think there was a little bit more personality in this game, and I think there was a little bit more flair from the players in this game.
I quite enjoyed the game. Sunderland were also giving it a shot. And some of the play that they had was good. And what it really pointed out was the gulf in class between our first team and our second team. Although this team scored 5, but especially in terms of the back line, right? We were caught flat-footed one too many times, right? And so the centre-back pairing of, one of our centre backs was obviously playing here, like the first team centre back. So it was only Rob Holding, but then Gabriel playing there makes such a massive difference. Xhaka came in and he made our team a lot better today. I felt like we were sort of having a midfield battle, but like you said, Ryan, when Xhaka came in, we just like swept them aside. That was
the only thing I saw about Holding today is his hairline miraculously came back. So I think he got hair plugs.
That's insane.
You just noticed that now, Glenn?
He's like, he has to disclose however that is happening for it, like the sake of humanity, man. Like that's
look, it wasn't our first.
I think he just sticks his head in a grow bag and it just takes care of itself. But looking at this Sunderland game, and I think you're both right in your assessments. When they scored their first goal, the manner in the way that they scored the goal, and Ryan was exactly right in his analysis of how that happened. And then Glenn was also right. For the period after that, we lapsed concentration. I don't know what happened. We totally just like whatever we were doing, we stopped doing it. We stopped concentrating. We stopped taking care of business. And then we went in at half time. So, it's probably, you've got to give the players credit to come out and get back into the game. But you'd have to say that maybe when they went in at half time, something was said. People were reminded, remember, this is kind of like our second string. Maybe they were reminded, that it was still an important game for a club, because I was concerned when the way that first goal went in and the way that we kind of played after that, it kind of flipped around. It really kind of flipped around. It went for a period of time where it was almost like we were the away team, and Sunderland were the home team. And I was like, oh no, here we go again. But we took care of business. Now, looking at players like Eddie Nketiah and Nicola Pepe, I thought that first of all, I'm really pleased that Eddie Nketiah got his hat trick today, and there was some really good finishes. However, if you want to know what Eddie Nketiah is all about and what his game is, he showed you in that game today. There wasn't very much variety in the goals. That is a tailor-made Eddie Nketiah game. He is the tap-in master. Mm-hmm. But don't get me wrong, I'm glad he got his hat trick, and those chances are not easy to take. Some of those, the way that he was like side-footing them in on the first take was excellent. However, since Eddie's been at Arsenal in the Premier League, right, he's had 41 appearances now since 2018 in the Premier League, where the big boys play. And in that time, he's only scored 5 goals and got 1 assist. And I think that Eddie Nketiah is one of them players that seems to be in a bit of limbo. He's too good for Premier League 2 and the under-23s. But every time I see him in the Premier League, and he's had plenty of chances. He's had chances to show what he can do. He's never quite done it for me. Don't get me wrong. In the Carabao Cup, they should change that to they should change its name to the Eddie Nketiah Invitational Cup. Do you know what I mean? Because he always seems to do really well. But I'm glad that we're thinking of moving him on. However, if we do let him move on for free, that would be a big fucking massive administration mistake by Arsenal behind the back of the scenes. you know, because he showed today that he can be useful for a team out there. And I would suspect that if Eddie Nketiah played in the division below the Premier League, he'd be a star there, and maybe in other places on the continent. But I do not think that Eddie Nketiah is ever going to be our number one, number 9. And that hurts me, because there's nothing I want to see more than we have a striker that's come all the way through the ranks and is one of our own. And we haven't had to go out and lay out 60, 70, 80 million bags to bring in somebody from the outside. And I think that the same assessment that I've given for Eddie Nketiah, I think that assessment also fits Nicola Pepe. You got to remember that, you know, we were playing Sunderland and they both shone today. But I just think that in the 3 seasons that Nicola Pepe's been with Arsenal as well, why is it that I still think that he's only been with us just over? I keep thinking that he's only been with us just over a season and he's going to settle in. But then you look at the data and you're like, fuck, he's in his 3rd season. You know,
he's like in his late 20s now.
Yeah,
exactly. He's no kid. The guy, was he 26, 27? He should be in his prime now, and he doesn't look like the club's, you know, number 1 record signing. So I just think that today, as though I'm pleased for those players and they contributed to us to get through to the next round, I think it kind of shows you a little bit at maybe where their level is.
Yeah.
You know? I totally agree with every single word you just said, Stan. And I will just add this, and then someone else can go. And Nketiah earned a little bit of respect back from me today, but I'm with Stan. Do it in the Premier League, dude. You know, it's just that simple. And Pepe, I'm a little worried about him because Martinelli and Saka are doing all the things I thought Pepe was going to do when he came here.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, that's what I said. I think I clearly remember this was after a game against Chelsea, beginning of 2020, in which Martinelli scored, you know, ran across the field and scored that goal against Chelsea. And I said that day that you know, he's doing things that if Pepe did, we would be, you know, we'd be thrilled and we'd expect that of him. And Pepe, unfortunately, just hasn't had that. But last season, it was a case of nobody had a good season, right? This season, he's not got a chance yet. So I believe in the potential of Pepe more than Nketiah, because he's got that X factor. He's got that something that you can't really expect. On the one side, he's very predictable, but that one skill he can get really good at. And we need somebody, another attacker, except for you know, ESR now on the bench, because we're a little short on numbers. We could any day get an injury. We could get, you know, God forbid, get an injury, God forbid, get COVID. You know, there could be many things that could happen, and we'll need these players. And it's not the numbers that should count against us, right? So Pepe should come in, and I see these as good opportunities. He's coming off the back of a good game. Give him a game against Norwich, or give him a game against, you know, Wolves, you know, the Burnleys. You know, these games, some of it, at least bring him on, keep him match fit, you know, keep him warm, so that, or if nothing else, that's going to increase his value, right? This is also, you know, management 101. You know, outcasting him in this manner is not going to fetch us anything for a guy that we've spent 17 million for, right? We've got to look at that side of things as well. And if Arteta is smart, he's going to look at that side. And that brings me to the gulf in class, and now we're serious contenders, right? The perennial winners of this League Cup, Manchester City, are not in it this time. They've been knocked out by West Ham. It's going to be a big, you know, a big team tie for the last 4. I anticipate, you know, Liverpool going through, Chelsea going through, maybe Spurs going through, and we are there, you know. And at that point, do you stick with this team, or do you sort of semi go with a more experienced team? You know, I'm not saying the first team. If it was me, I would be tempted. And if I was Arteta, I would think that what has got him till here is that FA Cup win. And if he wants any more credit in his bag, he should really go for this trophy. If I were him, I would go for it. But would you, after a 5-0 win today, we won 6-0 against West Brom. We won convincingly against Wimbledon and Leeds as well. Would you stick with the same team, or would you sprinkle in some more first team into this going into the semi-final?
Well, I mean,
I think he would start. I think he would start a stronger team against a stronger team. The one thing I liked about the starting 11 today, I tweeted this earlier, is we had a lot of game changers on the bench. So he had his insurance policies on the bench if the game wasn't going the way we thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at who's left of this competition in the 3 matches tomorrow, Chelsea, Brentford, Liverpool, Leicester, and Tottenham, West Ham, you're going to get now in the semifinal. I believe the semifinals are 2 legs.
Yeah.
Home and away, I believe. And then the final is at Wembley. But I think you're going to see in those games, I think you're going to see a much stronger side, a side that he trusts, that he's going to put out there in the league. He's going to come back and you're going to see Gabriel in there at the back with Ben White and Martinelli on the left, and Bukayo Saka and Odegaard, and the Odegaard, the Odegaard ESR thing is interesting to me. I don't want to necessarily get off topic here, but you'll see bottom line, you'll see one of those. So I think you're going to see a stronger side, considering who's left in the. There are no more championship or League One opponents left in this thing now. We got the last one and we beat them today. Everybody else is in the Premier League. So I think you see a stronger side. I mean, look, you're basically 2 games away from playing in a final, right? I think you have to roll the dice and go for the trophy. So,
and it's a winnable final, right? I mean,
I think so.
Usually 2 legs, right? But some people are saying that maybe they'll just go for 1 leg now, straight knockout.
Maybe they might go for 1 leg given the postponements. That's not confirmed yet, but I mean that generally happens in January, right? Against Liverpool, no Mane or Salah. We are talking, there could be an advantage there. There could be something to play for, and you've not got City there, right? Like, whose C team could challenge for the top 4. That's why they end up winning. The last time we went up against them, we got battered in the finals, but they're just too good for this cup. That's why they keep winning it. This time it might be a closer tie. So, I think we should give it all for this trophy. I know that people don't really care about it, but it's one check in the box sort of situation. That you're at least set for the season. I've done something this season. At the end of it, if people think about which was the last team to win a trophy, or did Arsenal, when was the last time Arsenal won a trophy? We won a trophy in February or March or April, whenever the final is of this year, and that's something to take pride in.
Yeah. I guess kind of along those lines here, where when we talk about, Stan, it was kind of your idea. I'll kick it over to you. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I've been listening. I mean, I live in Canada, right? And I'm listening on the news, and I've been hearing that they're talking now that in Scotland, they're going to be reducing crowds going into games. They're thinking of having no crowds in at all, or maybe just having a number of 500 with all of the social distancing. It sounds like Wales is doing the same. So I'm just getting the idea that it sounds like the United Kingdom as a whole, that football might be changing, whether there's going to be a break or whether it's going to be behind closed doors. But I definitely think, after this Christmas period, something's going to change. I mean, when we played that game the other day and I went to look at what the other scores were, everything else was just postponed. We were the only ones that played. So, I mean, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I just got a feeling that maybe this season is not going to play out as a regular season. There might be some kind of a disruption, or at the very least, I think at some point we might go back to playing games behind closed doors.
Before the Leeds game, I was leaning towards just take a week break after the Leeds game. But the Premier League, either today or yesterday, their statement changed my mind. They basically went back to a World War II statement of keep calm and carry on. And they literally said, if people are working in supermarkets and people are delivering mail and everybody is working, we want to work through this. So, that took me away from give it a week to, I like the thought. I like the way they're speaking here. It's like, is Winston Churchill, running the league now? I love it.
Is there too much football? Yes. Are they overworked? Yes. Do I love it? Absolutely, yes. Right? Like, my favorite time in the year is this festive fixtures when they're playing like 10 matches, 11 matches in like 40 days. And I'm like, these are modern day gladiators who are thrown against the lion, and we're all watching that, and we're like, come on, like, they bring it on. So I don't want the Premier League to stop, right? However, we're going to play it, but the games are not the same. The intensity is not the same without the fans.
Yeah.
So I just hope that fans are in there. This was a thing that was going on in Germany, right? Like, in fact, I think Manchester City played Leipzig in the or some other team, whoever was in their group. They played them behind closed doors, one of the Champions League matches. And Germany is not doing too great. I'm like I said, I'm traveling there tomorrow, so I'll have live to report from there. But they are doing that. They are having reduced capacity as well. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But to be honest, like, hopefully, like, I just hope that everybody is safe. Everybody is secure in whatever they do, and we will not get political here and take sides, but for me, the game must go on. That just makes my day. And it sounds very ruthless, but like, again, like, they're against the Lions, and I'm like watching. I'm loving it.
I think.
Can I just say one other thing real quick, Stan? Real quick. I swear, I promise. This is 10 seconds. As of yesterday, the last time I checked, Omicron has not killed a single person. Okay? So I think we're getting a little crazy. That's all I'm saying. Some countries are going a little crazy. Those poor people in Australia. Flo, if you're watching this, my heart is with you.
I think the best comment of the night has to be from Lone Star Londoner, who basically just says, aren't Welsh and Scottish stadiums empty anyway?
I didn't see that.
Their fans also work remotely.
Yeah. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gee, that's as far as I can go without getting political, and I don't like to get political.
I at the end of the day, man, if you
It's like, whatever.
you don't look, you don't want to go to the stadium because you're afraid of getting sick. Don't go to the fucking stadium. And if you're not worried about it, then go to the fucking stadium if you got the ticket. I don't understand why this has to be governed. I just don't. Whatever. I really, that literally is all the more I can say, because otherwise I already went off about it at work today. I'm not going to go off about it again.
So anyway, on another topic, we have Norwich on Boxing Day. So I just wondered how everyone thinks we're going to fare for that. I mean, personally, I don't see why we shouldn't get anything but 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, anything.
Norwich are terrible. Norwich are terrible.
Anything less than 3 points is unacceptable.
We've played so many teams lately that are in trouble, whether their manager's just left or they're without a manager or they're in flux. And I just hate it that we're always the ones to be playing these teams, because I never want to be the one where they like get the 3 points. So they climb out of the doldrums, but it's against us. I don't want to be. I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be that team. And I don't know what it is. It's teams that are so bad are the ones that I fear playing the most.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
I'll take our defense against Pookie anytime.
No, Pookie is actually semi-decent. He's been my FPL team.
Yes, I'm just
and just as you speak of our defense, I just looked at my phone and someone had done this tweet, and it basically said Ben White without Gabriel, and when you scroll down, it was a picture of Skodran Mustafi.
Wow, man! I tell you
There
what,
was
man,
that Mustafi sort of moment today, if you remember, where the ball was played up top and the defender would just like got stopped in his tracks and the ball went behind. Like we cut it off, but yeah, there were shades of him. I got reminded of him today, but no, I wouldn't go as far as saying Ben White as that. He had a rush of blood to his head against Leeds, but generally he's been solid.
One of you guys said this. One of you guys said this last week. I'm sorry, I don't remember who said it. Called Ben White a smarter David Luiz in his prime. I like that.
That was
I like
Ryan.
that.
That was Ryan. That is Ryan. Ryan, are you even with us or?
Yeah. No, I'm taking it all in.
Who said that? Who said that?
Who do you think said that? Come on, Rowan.
I'm trying to decide if Ryan drinks himself into oblivion during shows because he gets quieter and quieter after he shows.
I still didn't finish my first beer.
Oh, okay.
We didn't say that you aren't a lightweight.
Yeah. No,
it's fair. It's very fair.
To Stan's question, excuse me. To Stan's question, it's anything less than 3 points against Norwich is unacceptable.
No way.
It's that simple.
We're only getting 3 points unless we play Patino and Eddie and Ketty. It's happening here, boys. So we go. March forward.
Yeah, Charlie Patino, first goal today. So that's exciting. I saw Lone Star had a comment before the show even started from Charlie George to Charlie Graham to Charlie Patino. That's fun stuff.
You guys got to take it easy with Patino. When I saw him today, you know what I thought? I was like, he looks like the kid that serves me at White Castle at 2 a.m. Let's take it easy with him, okay?
Glenn, he is. He is.
Charlie Patino's mum thought that he'd just gone down to the chip shop to hang out with his friends tonight. Not that he was playing football for Arsenal.
Is anybody? We'll hit on this real quick. I mean, it's funny. Everybody, everybody hates the negativity that surrounds this football club, but there's more to talk about when we're bad. There's just fucking more to talk about. It's
that's so funny because I think there's more to talk about now than ever.
I mean,
granted, the Aubameyang thing's not a good thing, but it's
I was going to bring the Aubameyang thing up, and so the rumor is, we'll hit on it because it is news. So what I saw something where Josh Kroenke basically said, nope, he's not going to be a part of the team, and Arteta wants to put him back in. Did anybody else see that, or did I dream that?
I did not see that.
I vaguely remember seeing that headline, so you're not going crazy, BG.
I think it was the opposite. If anything, I think Arteta would be the one saying no.
For me, it's all speculation, just like what I'm about to say. Aubameyang, he was late for whatever. Okay. Arteta didn't want to talk about it, but somehow it came out on social media. I think that was Aubameyang, and I think that is why he is getting punished for, 3 games in a row now? I think that is what pissed off Arteta and everyone else, is they wanted to keep it in-house, and I think he let it out. That's all speculation, but it's the only thing I can think. If you're late for something and the coach is still talking shit about you 3 games later, that's the only thing I can think of.
Let me ask
Glenn, you're so adorable if you think this is just one instance that happened, and it's because he was late to something. Yeah. It's very cute, Glenn.
But that's not it. I just said that I think that he let it out on social media. All of a sudden there was a defense. It was my mom. It was this. It was that. So that's why I think he's still being punished. I didn't just say it was one innocent thing. I was trying to rationalize why 3 games later the coach is still pissed at him, the manager's still pissed at him.
But they've said, right, that he's going to train on his own until the AFCON Cup, and he's going to go off to that. So he ain't coming back anytime soon. He's not playing in the next game or the one after that. He's training on his own.
Yep.
And I think that when you do something like that and you're ostracized to be on your own, it's because the manager believes that you're a bad force. You're a negative force around everybody else. You're not going to enhance what's going on. You're going to bring the situation down. Otherwise, he'd be training with everybody else, right?
All right, that's fair enough. But if we're going to get rid of him, I hope we keep until the end of the season, because who's number 2 then? Who's the number 2 striker?
I was also reading today that Barcelona are interested in taking him on loan.
It's all the same thing.
If we do that, then we can't go on as we are. There has to be someone else coming in, either
DCL in January
or on loan.
DCL in January, anyone?
No,
Yeah,
that's
right.
I mean that's £100 million on one player.
I don't want him. I do not
I just
want
don't.
him.
I'll tell you. Why? I'm curious. Why? Why don't you want him?
Because he's going to cost £100 million, and I don't.
Okay.
I don't think he's that
good.
good. I think he's good. I don't think he's going to transform us. We need a striker that's going to transform us.
I think DCL can take us to top 4.
Who? Ryan? Who would that be? I'm curious. And I'm not being argued. I don't want you to take this. I'm genuinely curious as to who you think that is.
You're gonna laugh at me, right? I mean, right now that if I had to put my eggs in one basket for a striker to get us top 4, Lacazette.
Okay. Okay. So let's think out. But okay, let's think outside the team though, because if Aubameyang goes, you got to bring. You've got to bring somebody in if Lacazette. Listen to me.
I think we're
I don't
gonna
think
sign.
Aubameyang's going to go. Truth be told, I don't think he's going anywhere. But
I think we're gonna sign like what's the phrase they use? Like not a young player, but not a fucking 30-year-old either. We'll sign like a Pepe player, like a 24-year-old who's like just getting into their prime that could really make a direct impact for us, and maybe be that starter next season, because Lacazette's not going to be here. I don't think Eddie's going to be here. So what's the guy from Fiorentina? Vlahovic, whatever his name is.
Vlahovic.
Yeah, I think he's someone we could get. I think we could get him for a relatively good price, because they just signed. They didn't just sign him. Over the summer, they signed Nicolas Gonzalez from Stuttgart. So I think they want to kind of play him a little more, and I think Vlahovic wants to leave too. I think it's a good shot. I think we need a player. We need a younger, faster Lacazette that could play 90 minutes. And that is asking for a lot. But I don't know. I think to me DCL is just probably a little bit of he's a better Eddie Nketiah. Like he's a fox in the box. He can head the ball, which Eddie can't really do. Like I'm just not. I just think he's the best player on a bad team. So it's like. So he looks really
last season when Everton was flying, he was the reason why they were flying, right? I mean, he has that structure for me. I'm not saying that I did not rate him before last season, but he scored 16 odd goals in the Premier League last season, right? He's been injured most of this season, but he's got the attributes of how we want to play, which is, he can head the ball because we keep crossing it in. We love to cross it in, but we've got no players who can head the ball, and he's got that physique also to hold up play, which none of our other 2 strikers can do. He can do that. He does that for Everton. He's a full England international. I don't think, and he's played in the Premier League. I like the appeal of going for that Fiorentina guy because he's like unknown commodity. He's scoring like crazy. His celebrations look mad. His still photos that I have seen. I haven't seen him play, but whatever I see of him, which are the photos, I like that. But I know nothing more than him, than that. But DCL, I have seen him play. I've seen him play over the last couple of seasons. Everton beat us twice last season, and DCL was a big part of that. So why wouldn't you want to add that sort of player to the
We
team?
were terrible last season. Didn't take much to beat us.
Whatever the reason might be. Like so when we lose, we are terrible. When we win, then we are not allowed to say that the other team is.
So we're bad. We're
just
bad.
having it both ways. So what I'm saying is that he's a good player. He's an England.
I don't know.
He's not
He's okay. He's okay. Let's put it this way. Let's say, ready? I'm not going to get anymore. This is what I'm going to say. I want whoever AD and Arteta want, because they've been fucking bang on with all of us. So whoever they're after, whoever they want to go, that's exactly.
I agree.
I think when you look at it, and I mean, using Dominic Calvert-Lewin as when you look at him, I think you see all of the attributes that you're looking for to fit this system. You want a big guy who can who can win a header, who can win a duel in the air, in the box, get the ball into the back of the net with his head, but strong enough to hold the play up in build-up play. Is it like all of those things are there with him? I don't know that they're there, that he's reached his full potential yet. So it's kind of interesting. He's not the finished product. It's a good shout for him, but here again, I don't know anything about this kid from Fiorentina, this Vlahovic, or however you say his name. I don't know anything about him.
He's good.
So, I mean, I hear other names here and there, but I think the biggest thing when it comes to strikers, you have to take into consideration the role that Arteta seems to put his striker in. And even Aubameyang, when Aubameyang's playing through the middle, he's not very effective because he's playing a style that doesn't suit him. Yeah. Lacazette is much better suited to play that hold up striker role than what Aubameyang is. So if that's the way he wants a striker to play, you're looking for a player that has to fit that profile. And I don't know where that player is, but if you're, Ryan, you and I talked about.
Yeah, but we had a player today that doesn't fit that profile, and he scored a hat trick.
Yes, Stan, I'm your choir tonight. Hallelujah.
I get it. I heard you guys having the conversation about Eddie when I was off camera, but
Can I ask you guys a question, because you're all very anti-Aubameyang, and I just want you. All right, our next game.
What you're saying? Rohan's anti-Aubameyang? What's going on?
Oh, I'm sorry, Rohan. I'm sorry.
Rohan's still here. Come on, earmuffs.
All right, okay. Say we beat Norwich, then at home. 2 days later against Wolves. Say we beat them. We're going to we play Manchester City at home New Year's Day. Who do you want as your second striker after Lacazette? You want friggin' Nketiah coming on if Lacazette can't play or he's too tired? I mean, that's a lot of games. Do you guys really want Nketiah coming on? No, don't want Balogun. The kid's not ready yet. That's what I'm saying. Let's just take it one game at a time. I'm not convinced Lacazette wants to leave. I'm just convinced that Lacazette wants to make sure we're not going to go out and get some friggin' $50 million striker and he's going to be on the bench. I think that's what he's waiting.
I mean, Lacazette doesn't want us to get an upgrade on him, and he doesn't want to fight for his place. I'm not into that.
Yeah, well, that's.
Lacazette wants his last big payday.
Stan, he's 30. He's 30. This is his last big contract. This is his last big contract. If that's the way he's thinking.
So let's not be that fucking pension old man's home for him. Let him go get his last payday somewhere else. And let's as I said on the last show, right? Don't be deceived. Let's just enjoy his last dance. But it doesn't mean that whatever warrants another 2 years. But if we're talking about bringing in someone, I'd like to bring in Jimenez from Wolves, plays in the league, has a lot of tricks about him, isn't a one-dimensional player. And a few people were looking at Muriel from Atalanta, but he's scored 2 goals in 12 games. I mean, that's just underwhelming. I mean, I think somebody like Jimenez But
Jimenez
is it because he plays at Wolves that nobody would even look at
No,
him?
Jimenez, I rate Jimenez. And there is definitely a value in bringing somebody in who's played in the Premier League or who's playing in the Premier League, right? That is why DCL or Jimenez would be my preferred choice, because you've seen the likes of Werner struggle here. You've seen so many strikers come in here, betting period. You take that out of the equation, that is itself worth like maybe a 10 odd million extra. If you
Because,
have
as I said, in the last game, we created 21 chances, 11 on target, scored 2 goals. We need someone in there that's going to have a better conversion rate. So that if you make 21 chances and have 11 shots, maybe we get 4 goals.
Wow, I can't believe I see so far away from you guys.
I mean,
You guys are making me start to doubt myself, okay? I still think we need a midfielder. When Xhaka started against Leeds, I was like, God damn it, what the and I was like, no, Arteta's been getting this shit right. And then he had a damn good game against Leeds. But he's a squad player to me. And he only played because Lokonga had a COVID thing. So I want a midfielder. Now you guys can go about banting striker names.
No, yeah.
You think Xhaka played because Lokonga had COVID? Xhaka was always going to play.
Yeah, Xhaka was always going to play. Yeah,
He was always great.
And he's
Xhaka.
played okay. He's
I
played
say that
okay
with
also.
certainty.
Let me also say that he's played okay. So it's not like he's been a downgrade. If anything, he's played a little bit better than. I mean, between Partey and Lokonga played better, and between and Xhaka has played better than what Partey has played for most of the season as well. But now they seem to be working, and I have no problem in that. But yes, we do need a CM. But the conversation is because now we are down a striker, right? Because Aubameyang's not in the mix, so we just have one recognized striker. As well as Martinelli is doing, I don't think we should give him the striker's role on a permanent basis, especially against in a game like Leeds, where Lacazette was imperative, right? Like where he was dropping down and creating all sorts of spaces. He was the right fit for that game. If Martinelli was playing up top, if somebody else was, Aubameyang was playing up top, we wouldn't have had that. So Lacazette was really good. Now, if Aubameyang is going to be moved on, then we need somebody else, and that's why we got into this conversation.
But
we know better than anything we do. We just must remember that as well as Lacazette does this season, do not give him a mega contract, because we know how it goes.
It's not just Aubameyang, is it?
I mean, we know better than that. But is he going to sign a 1-year extension? Like, do you think? I don't think he will sign just a 1-year extension, which is why Lacazette also seems like he might be leaving at the end of the season.
I'm giving you guys the last word on Laka because we disagree on his mindset, and we're all guessing. By the way, fucking microphone.
We have like 4 mainstay strikers on our books, and at this moment in time, as far as we know it, 3 of them have got 1 foot out of the door. Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Eddie Nketiah, for various reasons, seem to have 1 foot out of the door, and then the other guy is supposed to be going out on loan. I think our striker predicament is quite serious, because we don't seem to have anybody that's, they can play good or play bad, but it doesn't matter because they're going. Do you know what I mean? There's no one that seems to be, that's part of what we're doing. They're all kind of like on a, we're judging them on a week by week basis. If they have a great game, we love them. We're going to extend their contract. If they have a shit game, and it's like, well, they're leaving anyway. We need a little bit more. We need to solidify that and have something more solid.
I understand.
There's whole scoring goals, right? Ooh. And we're lucky now that some of these young kids are spreading the goals about amongst them. We've got players like ESR that can come off the bench and score goals. We've got Martinelli chipping in, Saka. We still need a spearhead. Mm-hmm. And as good as Lacazette has been for the team, it just worries me that we've got 4 names of strikers on our books. 3 have got their foot out of the door. 1's going on loan. That doesn't seem like a foundation.
Okay, fair enough. I said last word to you guys, so go ahead, BG, move on.
I think, I mean, the striker thing is a good conversation. And it will be interesting to see how we handle this in January. It'll be interesting to see how Aubameyang is handled going forward. I don't know that you can necessarily say that we're playing better without him in the lineup, because we've had good games with him in the lineup this year. So But there, like I think Stan, you said it earlier that there could be something to, if he's been banished, to the academy ranks and he's training with those players away from the.
No, he's training by himself.
Or if that's the case, then
how do you work your way back into the squad if you're training by yourself, right?
Yep. And
that's just keeping you fit.
Right. So striker, I think you've probably got to address both. I think striker and center mid.
No, we're fine. We Jack Wilshere got a number. I think we're going to be okay at center mid. So don't you think? He's number 77. I'm not kidding, by the way. We gave him a number.
Well, it's funny because the picture
right? Number 77, I think.
But the picture that you put up of him in the group, did you notice that the number was only on his snood? It wasn't on his shirt or his shorts.
I don't give a
every
fuck
other
where
player has their number on their shirt and their shorts.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that he got a number.
Is there really a possibility that within the next 6 weeks we could see an Arsenal game and in the midfield is Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey?
I'd
blow my brains out.
I literally just went from 6 to 12.
That's absolutely. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. I will throw a hissy fit if we get Aaron Ramsey back. I no.
Ramsey, no, but like Jack Wilshere for a couple of till the rest of the season. Something. Arteta has big enough. He said that he's good enough for the Premier League.
And then he says, "Oh, for Arsenal." He goes, "Oh, that's a different story."
Of course. So what else he's gonna? He's like, yeah, he's really good for Arsenal. He can't say anything else. But
there's no one here then that will take Jack Ramsey back on a free. We're just going to be paying his wages.
Ooh, who's Jack Ramsey?
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's a love child, Aaron Ramsey. Nobody wants to have that back. On the
doesn't he have a ridiculous salary?
I'd rather take back Mustafi than Aaron Ramsey.
Okay, that's a lie.
No,
that's a lie.
Ryan, if this was a zoo, you'd be that monkey just throwing shit all over the place. Would you calm down? All right, calm down.
Maybe the question is this, and you always have to look at it in two ways. You have to look at it from does it help the team?
No.
Just inserting this particular player into this side, does it help the team? Does it? I think having Aaron Ramsey around would.
Okay,
I'm not saying that he helps.
The med room warm or the fucking table. What do they call them? Where they work you out because you're fucking injured all the time.
Well, that's true. That's
keep
true.
That
definitely keep the physio staff busy. But does the deal that you make, does it make sense for the club off the pitch in terms of the business side of things? Is Aaron Ramsey coming in on a short-term loan? That's not a bad deal. It's short-term. If it's till the end of the season, okay. That's
makes absolutely no sense.
We have brought in far worse players on short-term loans. Denny Suarez.
It would give us variety in midfield. It would give our midfielders a little bit more competition. And there's an argument that those two players, and you have to remember that even when Aaron Ramsey was leaving the club, if you remember, Emery didn't want to pick him at first when we knew he was leaving, and then he had to fall back on him, and he didn't let us down. There is an argument to say that Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey could be just the right ingredients or sprinkling of experience that some of these players need. I remember you're holding your head, Ryan, but I'm sure you were one. I remember you saying like how vital fucking David Luiz was to this team, and I was just like, it's the fucking worst thing to come to this team.
We were bad, but he was the best of a bad bunch.
But here's
he's a fucking virus, mate. He was fucking.
No, yeah.
But here's and that
right there. I'm picking out Ryan wrong, but there were people that were saying that the leadership qualities that he brought were so vital, and it was almost like we would like dismiss the fucking red cards and the fucking wayward passes and all the other shit that would cost us points. I don't think that Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey would cost us in that way. Could they get injured and miss games? Both of them, yeah. But if it's on a pay-as-you-play or a loan to
Oh.
patch us through. I'm not saying that they're the way
I don't like
forward
that.
and we should give them 5-year contracts, but I think both of them could just be coming in at the right time to help some of these young players get to where we need, and that is European qualification.
And here's the thing. You said something, Stan, that struck me, and I wanted to jump in as soon as you
I
said
thought
it.
it was final word like 15 minutes ago. What are we still talking
David Luiz, and this will be the final word. David Luiz was a virus. Those two players, Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey, would cut off their own fucking limbs for this club. I was at the game.
They fucking do it involuntarily on the pitch. They're constantly cutting their limbs off. They're constantly getting hurt.
I mean, it is what it is. They're made of glass. Okay,
They're not good enough.
It's
simple.
But having players with that mentality around, because let's face it, Granit Xhaka is not that player. He has leadership qualities about him, but he is also a dunce. He has the potential and the capacity to Granit Xhaka any situation. I'm sorry, but a dude that goes out and is a red card waiting to happen is not my captain nor my leader.
Until the day
Aubameyang isn't Arsenal. He's just not. He's a mercenary at best. That's what he is. Lacazette, I love Alex Lacazette, but he's not Arsenal. But I'll tell you who is Arsenal.
Oh my god.
Jack motherfucking Wilshere is.
Jesus Christ.
Aaron fucking Ramsey is. Aaron Ramsey grew up with this club.
Holy Jesus.
You're not talking about helping on the pitch, but Ryan, you've played sports.
You jack off to Patrick Vieira posters, don't you?
And you cannot tell me that there isn't a mental side of this. That's where those two players coming in.
In professional football, no, I don't really think there is. They're so
okay. I watched Aaron Ramsey ball his eyes out when he was given his little thing. I don't even know what it was.
Signing him up contradicts everything Arteta's trying to do. To contradict everything Arsenal's trying to do. It makes absolutely zero sense.
You're absolutely right. I get that.
But here comes the but.
But you need you need this around. That's why I think Jack Wilshere.
Yeah, that's why they're coaches. That's why Wilshere's trained the team and he's coaching. He's helping coach.
See, if it's
playing.
plugging the gap to get us to the end of the season in this sort of time where it's injuries and COVID, etc. We've got in central midfield, we've got Lokonga who's come in, who's done well, but he's not completely settled in. Thomas Partey, who's going to go away to the African Cup of Nations, and he also hasn't hit top gear yet. Like, he's not even hit like second gear, I think. Right?
It's true.
In Xhaka, who's always Xhakaing, So in that, I see that they can come and add value, and which is why it addresses your question, your concern, right? Pay as you play, at least to Jack Wilshere, who is not even playing at all, will be acceptable, should be acceptable, because that gives him a chance to showcase himself to other players, to other clubs, and we don't have to sign them till next season, right? We go and get someone, it solidifies, it goes with what Arteta is trying to do, which is I'm going to sign someone only for 6 months, and then I'm going to go on and I'm going to buy my sort of player. But should we work just for his philosophy to our detriment, when I've already said that we've got 3 players who are not, either not good enough or not, hitting the heights that they should? Should we lose out on a European spot because of that?
I agree with you, right? But Ryan is not having fucking any of it.
Grandma,
I'm with you,
I'm
with you. It could be the difference of European qualification and a cup. As BX81 said that, he'd love to have in a cup run. I want Ramsey in the team, and I couldn't agree more.
Arteta has earned it.
Ryan's not having any of it.
Absolutely.
Ryan, before you go off, I know you're dying to go off. Just before you go off, Arteta has earned enough cred with me where if he believes Ramsey and or Wilshere can help this team, I'm all in.
It's so funny. It's good because he doesn't believe that, because he would have signed Wilshere, but he didn't. So
and
just it's good.
All cards on the table. Till the day he left, Ramsey was my favorite Arsenal player. But if he comes back, he can't be anywhere near the wages he was on in his previous.
That explains a lot, Glenn. He's your favorite Arsenal player.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm not saying we should be paying him 400 fucking bags a week.
That's what he's gonna want.
No way.
And he's not getting that, which is why we said, like, maybe getting one of them for cover, for that mentality, for that experience might be worth it. They don't have to play every game, but playing with the team from a from a coaching perspective versus competing for a spot, or at least like competing for a spot every other game week. When we are seeing postponements, we are the only club who has a match in less than 48 hours, right? I mean, they're not going to be available for this one, but there are going to be these situations, and we're depending completely on youngsters. We shouldn't lose out on another year of European football, or if we can, then Champions League football, just to like make a point, right? It's better to go, sometimes to take half a step back, if that can help us take 4 steps forward, than sticking with your principles and just like being right there,
cutting your nose off to spite your face.
Exactly. But I mean, all of this is hypothetical, obviously, so either way, even if we don't sign them, then let's hope for the best, because I don't really see an alternative in midfield. Partey is going to go for African Cup of Nations, and then what? Lokonga is not fit. He's inexperienced. Then we're down to Xhaka and Lokonga, and then what?
I really, really do see all your concerns, but I guess I'm just more confident in Arteta, because I complained after almost every one of his summer signings, and when it was over, the last being Tamayasu, I said, Tama, what the fuck? I was completely wrong on all of those guys. Yeah. So my confidence with Arteta and him figuring out what to do is pretty good right now.
Yeah.
I apologize. I had to dip away and I couldn't hear you guys.
You didn't miss anything. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
What you missed is Stan, Rohan, and I both would not really have a problem with Ramsey and or Wilshere. Ryan wants to come to the screen and beat us all up about it.
Well, we all know that Ryan's not going to beat us up, even if we didn't have to come through the screen. So, no, I get Ryan's point. I do. I truly get it, and to be honest with you, you can't really formulate an argument against what Ryan is saying. It does go in the face of everything that Arteta and Edu are trying to do here, building through the youth movement. But I do think that a team like this could benefit from. I am not going to say that either of those two players would be the difference. Right now, we're a team like this. We're a contender for 5th and 6th. We're a long shot for 4th. All right.
I wouldn't say long shot. We're in 4th. How do you say we're a long shot?
But teams behind us have games in hand.
We're a contender for 4. I don't think we're definitely in 4th.
But what I'm saying, I don't know that those
Leicester winning the league was a long shot.
I don't know that either of those two players come in and make that much of a difference to us being a bigger top 4 contender. I don't think our odds of finishing top 4 increase with either of those two players in the lineup. I don't think their play affects that. But what they can affect is the mentality of a young team that is trying to find its identity with a young coach. And we, as a supporter base, have been screaming for years that this club has no identity. There are 2 guys there. There's your identity.
So make them coaches.
I don't understand.
Oh, dude,
Thank
you're
you, coaches.
married. You got to learn to compromise.
I
or it's-
mean,
Yeah, that is compromising. They're part of the team.
No,
they're
no,
coaches.
it's different. You know that. It's different, and you know that. When you get to a team and you see a guy that has been a part of that team for how long, like you look up to that guy.
No. He's not
No?
gonna play.
All of these
No.
Haaland boys have said Jack Wilshere is the one who started that dream, right? Like, I mean,
Whether
and
he's
there is no
coaching with the
question.
team and training or
I
playing,
mean,
it's the
his
same. It doesn't matter
mentality.
to me. Oh, large Marge.
There's
It's
no question.
midnight.
Stop saying that so loud, Ryan. I got a
Hey,
couple
the-
minutes,
The
guys. Then I
chat's
have to
going
go.
off. It's not even me.
Um,
Yeah.
I just.
All right, my final thought. Norwich, right? Norwich. We got to worry about Pookie. He has 5 of the team's 8 goals. So he's really the only threat they have. I think we're going to win. And it's going to be great, great, wonderful. Patino's going to get a hat trick. No, seriously. In all seriousness, no. We just got to keep playing the way we're playing. It's going to be great. The Leeds game, I didn't really get to talk about it too much, but they were terrible. I thought Southampton was bad. This team was worse than Southampton. Yeah, I know, missing a lot of players, whatever. But it's good to see us play with the handbrake off, and it's good to see us really go at teams. And to Rohan's point, I kind of wanted to make it earlier, but I didn't really have a chance to. I'm not upset that we kind of took it easy the last 20 minutes. You know, when you're a team like us and we're not an elite team yet, you can't play for 90 minutes and batter team 7-0. We're just never going to do that. We have to just win decisively and just take the 3 points and be like, okay, this is good. No one gets hurt. Fantastic. Tomiyasu came up a little limp, but I think he's okay. So I was okay with us letting back, and I think Ben White got a little cocky, got a penalty. It is what it is. It happens. But I'm excited to watch us play day after Christmas. So let's go, boys.
Let me go real quick. I'm really excited. I think Arsenal fans really should be excited. Arteta's got this team at the point where I wish we were playing them instead of Norwich next. I really want to see us up against them now with our team confidence so high. And just one other thing, and this is on my video, Glenn AFC New York on YouTube. Since Arteta took over.
Watch the videos. They're fucking awesome.
Thank you, Ryan. Since he took over, since Arteta took over, only 4 teams have a better record than us in the Premier League. I think that is a big, big piece of evidence of why things are going right now. That's it. I'll listen to you guys out of respect, but if you talk too long, I'm gonna have to go.
So I can go next. Holidays coming up. We are in a good run going into Christmas 4th. The next 2 games absolutely winnable, and then Manchester City. We're gonna enjoy that. Like I said, hopefully I will be traveling to Germany. So next week I might not be available. It's 4 a.m. there, so that's like some stupid time there. But I might see you at the end of the 3-game run, and let's see. Like, hopefully we get 9 out of 9, but at least 6 out of 9 is minimum till then. And I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yes, same here too. I forgot to say that. Happy holidays to everybody. Go ahead, Stan. I want to hear your final thoughts.
My final thoughts are to Lone Star Londoner, who says that Jack Wilshere has 0 prospects of playing for Arsenal. I'd actually go out on a limb and say that within the next 6 weeks, you will see Jack Wilshere as named as a substitute in this Arsenal team. And I'd like to wish everybody a very happy Christmas. I hope you've all been good boys and girls, and Santa brings you everything that you wanted this year.
Here, here. Final thought. Merry Christmas, everybody. For the love of God, can it really get any fucking worse? So as far as, a Happy New Year is concerned, hopefully 2022 is better than the last 2 years that we've had, because they've been absolute shit. And hopefully people start pulling their heads out of their asses. Yeah. But anyway, as far as Arsenal are concerned, just Lone Star, keep on winning. Just win, baby. Lone Star, what have I always said? What have I always said? Just win, baby. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. And you know what? At the end of the day, if Jack Wilshere and or Aaron Ramsey can, if Mikel Arteta, who was a teammate of both of theirs, think that they can help, you know what?
I just don't think you give Jack Wilshere a squad number and go that far with the pictures of the training if there isn't an idea that there's a plan? Do you know what I mean? To use that squad number.
Right. No, seriously, just a quick word from all of us here. Thank you all for being a part of this. It's 5 guys who get together, once a week, here and there, a few other times a week, and just chat about something that we love, and try to, have a sense of community with all of you out there. And we are so grateful that you guys all tune in, watch the show, and be a part of this little thing that we have going on here. We're thrilled to have you guys all along for the ride. And it's been over a year now. It's been about a year and a half for us, and we're still going strong. We had, I think, up to about 43 in the live chat tonight. So the numbers are going up, and that's awesome. So
my son wants to wish everybody. Go ahead, say it. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Owen.
Awesome.
I'll be right there, sweetie.
All right. Glenn, go ahead if you need to go. Merry Christmas, brother. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. Check your DMs after the show, BG.
Will do.
Subscribe to Glenn's channel. He's fun.
Yes, and subscribe to his channel. Just search Glenn AFC. I don't know if it's New York or New York. Is it YALK? So make sure you do that. And give his channel drop a subscription to his channel as well. So once again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to everybody out there. It is always fun, always a pleasure to do this show. Is my thanks especially to Stan, Ryan, who's off screen right now, but Rowan, if you're traveling next week, please be safe. Safe travels to you, my friend, and your family as you guys head across the pond. So that's all we got for you. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. Hopefully we're talking about another 3 points in the bag. Been good footy talk. We'll see you out there.